Hey, welcome back to JG3 Reviews. My name is James. I do fountain pen, ink, and paper reviews. Did a lot of pens this year, and so I want to share with you 5 pens that for various reasons made my top 5 list. This is not going to be kind of an order of this one is better than this one. Instead, I've got 5 subcategories I want to share with you, and the list is a little different this year. I don't have a stinker list. And I don't know how this happened. I got through a whole year of buying pens and reviewing them, sharing them with you, although not every pen I bought has been reviewed just yet. Got a bunch at the beginning of 2023 that I've had for months, a year, 2 years. But all of the pens that I got this year were good. Now, some were great, some were spectacular, and those are the ones on this list. But I didn't have a dud. I find that incredible. I don't know if I'm getting pickier and better at what I'm buying, or, and I think actually this may be more it, maybe they're just making better pens. And maybe I also did dodge a bad pen here and there, although usually I do, at least in a year, buy a dud. I do what I like to call jumping over a horse apple and landing in a cow pie, if you know what I mean. And you might have to be from Texas to know what that means. Here is my list of 5 great pens, and there will be a couple of bonus things at the end. So let's open up this pen case and see what's there. So the first category I want to share with you is my favorite new pen offering, and that could have been a brand or it could have been a model of pen, and this was actually close for me in a way. However, I think the one that I chose of the pens that I reviewed this year, I think they deserve this very much, and that is Asvine, and particularly the Asvine V169. This was their first pen offered under the Asvine brand name, and it really hit the pen market with a splash. It's a great looking pen. This is a medium, and it's just an awesome nib. It writes so smoothly. It's a vac-filled pen, and it's just done so well. The skeleton work here is done well. The water drop theme is carried over, especially I think in this particular kind of a gray-blue color. It's just been an excellent pen in every way. And then they brought out the P20, the more recent piston filler, and that pen just wrote beautifully, got some interesting resins that a lot of you really liked. And then they just brought out, again, the P30, which is another piston pen. And in 1 year, they brought out 3 pens in their model range, and all 3 of them have been excellent. Excellent build for the money, an excellent build even if it had been for more money. Although don't tell anybody, because the way things are going right now, we don't need anything going up as much as things are going up, right? And then in this category, I actually have an honorable mention. This is the Narwhal or Narvaler. They spell it like Narvaler, but say it Narwhal, just like they used to actually spell it. That should probably make a list somewhere of why did you do that? But anyway, I mean, their company, their thing. Anyway, they sent me this pen a while back to review, and I have been very impressed with it. It's the Narwhal Voyage, and this is in particular the New York City color scheme. They also did Shanghai and a few other places, but just a tremendously good writing pen. This isn't a diamond cast resin, but it has been a very popular pen in ebonite and everything else. I think maybe the ebonite, I don't know, but it seems like that one might be even more popular, but an excellent writing pen. I had to give the nod to Asvine because 3 new pens, all of them just knocked it right out, and that was an exciting thing to see this year. While we're talking about resins, let's talk about this one. This is my favorite material of the year, and this was a tight contest because I could have had one of any, 6 pens that I reviewed this year. It might be more than that actually, where I would have been happy to say, oh yeah, that one could be my favorite new material if this pen didn't exist. Now, I've had this pen longer than just 2022. I bought it in the fall of 2021, but didn't review it until 22. Got it at the Dallas Pen Show, which I missed this year, really wanted to go. But this is a Jim Hines pen, and it comes in this resin that is just absolutely gorgeous. It's a diamond cast resin meant to look like that blue marble that we all do enjoy sharing so much. And I love it. It's a beautiful pen. It's excellent craftsmanship. Jim Hines does a great job, and that definitely one of my top 5 pens of the year. The next on my list is most improved. And don't you love it when you got that grade in kindergarten? It usually came with a gold star and at Sunday school, a piece of gum, usually double mint or juicy fruit. Anyway, today's goes to the Jinhao X159. It is better, I think, than the 159 in just about every way, and that's not a cut on the 159. That's just good things can be improved. It is a great bargain. I have 3 of them, all of them write very, very well, and I love that they actually were paying attention and have already improved some things. If you bought a later version of this pen and not the first run, then you already have fewer turns on the cap to get the cap off. Things like that. So they're listening. They brought an affordable number 8 nib. I mean, just look at that thing. This is the later two-tone variant of the pen. Just really good. And again, the ones that I've gotten all write really well, and I appreciate that, and it doesn't break the bank. So good job, Jinhao, and thank you for listening to all of us out here. All right, the fourth is the biggest surprise pen, and that goes to what I think is fitting. It's the biggest surprise, and up until the other day, it was my biggest pen. This is, yes, it actually is nearly as big as my head. This is the Ranga Splendor, and it is a fantastic pen. And the reason I say it's the biggest surprise is actually not to do with its size. It's just that I had heard really great things about the pen. I actually went for one of the less expensive resins, but it is absolutely gorgeous, and it's wonderful to know there's still people making pens the old-fashioned way by hand and doing this in a way that is still, when you compare it to a lot of pens out there, still an affordably priced handmade pen. This pen, I think the most surprising part of all, and this is why I gave it this particular place in the list, is most surprising in that it is absolutely comfortable to write with. I love writing with this pen, and you would think that it's unwieldy. No, the ergonomics are excellent. It is well balanced if you write with it unposted, which I would certainly suggest. It is well balanced, a good writing pen, easy to write with for a long time, and it's just kind of awesome. I love it. And I liked it so much that already in 2023, I've got a couple of more Rangas to share with you. And before we go to the next one more honorable mention. An honorable mention that needs to go to the Kaweco Lilliput for the biggest surprise. This would be the ironic big surprise. I really put off getting one of these. I was kind of interested because I do like pocket pens, but I don't know. I just thought, am I really going to like writing with this pen? I mean, it's really tiny, and that means it's also kind of thin. But when I got it, you know what I discovered? I like writing with this pen, and it may be one of my best out-of-the-box Kaweco nibs in quite some time, with the exception, by the way, of the Kaweco Student, which I reviewed last year. That broad nib was excellent and is excellent, and I'm still fighting my daughter for that pen. But this one was a big surprise. Really great little pen. All right, number five. Number 5 is, what pen did I actually end up using most often? Well, this is kind of a trick category because most often means what pen actually ends up being the most practical for everyday carry and therefore gets used the most just because it's with you the most. Well, that goes to a pocket pen probably nearly every year, and this year by far it was the Gravitas Brass pocket pen. This is just a well-made, excellent pen, and I've really enjoyed it. I know I've said that before, so I'm not going to sit here and say it all over again. Check out the review if you want to know what I think about it. But just an excellent pen, and because it is so handy, dead on reliable, and has a great Yovo nib, number 6, medium nib, I just carry this pen nearly all the time. And to the point, I almost feel bad for some of my other pocket pens. All right, I did mention a bonus list. I've got the biggest loser, the biggest winner, and the biggest blunder. Let's start with the biggest blunder first. I think the biggest blunder in the pen world, as some others have said as well, and I'm just going to add my voice to those, was the whole little playground spat between Kaweco and Moonman Mahjong and Twisby and Narwhal and just all of that mess. In the end, nobody won. The companies that got in the fight, they lost. The pen retailers were the ones that were probably hurt the most, and that was really unfair to them. Nobody won in that, and so they definitely win the biggest blunder. That was a miscalculation and misguided and just a miss all the way around. So then who was the biggest loser? I think the biggest loser this year has to be the economy. The economy is just a mess with all the things going on in the world, and from different, just, a perfect storm of messy situations, horrible situations in some cases. The economy is definitely the biggest loser, and it definitely affects, hobbies. Hobbies are some of the first things to be cut when we all have to tighten the belt. And so, going into 2023, there's a lot of enthusiasm on my part because there's some great things I think that are going to come out, and I'm excited to see. And of course, some of those I have no clue about. I don't know what they're going to be. But there is also, there's a steady stream of announcements from pen stores in the last few weeks about price increases. Particularly, I've seen the most from Japanese retailers and things there. It just, that's a mess. That's out of all of our controls. Pen companies, yours, mine, pen retailers, we're all at a loss when it comes to the economy this year. And hopefully we see some improvement in the shorter future than many predict, I hope. Now, on a high note, we got the biggest winner, definitely the biggest winner in 2022 in fountain pen world is the pen enthusiast. I think we still are in a wonderful time. There were a lot of new pen releases, not as many from European pen companies. I'd love to see more from them in 2023, hint, hint, but still, lots of great pens came to the market. I mentioned the Asvine, and I mentioned some others, the Narwhal, and Mahjong, for that matter, had some great pens that came out this year in Hongdian, and I'm excited to see what comes in the next year. But I know for sure in 2022, you and I won. There were some great pens and some great inks that came out, and some great paper finds as well. And so as we go into this new year, I just want to tell you, I'm excited that we're going to find more new pens. We're going to find more paper, more ink. So share in the comments below, what was your favorite pen of 2022? Whether it's one that I reviewed or one that you found on your own or you found on some other channel, what was your favorite pen? And if you've got a suggestion for a good affordable pen or a good starter pen or something like that that I could review in the next year, I can't promise I'll buy them all because, that biggest loser economy thing, but I will certainly look that list over and do my best and look for inspiration from you guys. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? And to all of you, God bless and have a great 2023.